What's up, everybody? All right. I have a huge gripe with the MRM. Oh, I can't stand these motherfuckers. I can't. I can't. And I used when I first took the red pill. I was like, all right, I can fuck with I can fuck with these dudes. I can fuck with the men's rights movement. I can agree with what they're about. They want to help men. They want to help fathers. They're advocating for men's rights. In a sense, like they're advocating for men not being shamed and everything. They're cool. They want fathers to be able to be in their kids' lives. They don't want men to be taken to the cleaners and divorce courts. I can get that. I can get with that. I like that. I'm cool with that. But a lot of these guys are, they're in a sense more like the radical feminists, is that they want to blame women for everything. Not only that, they want to blame liberals. See, if I was a straight white male, then I, under most circumstances, I could ride with the MR. But when they start talking about liberalism and the progressives, I'm like, they're talking about the people who help black people. Like, they're talking about the people who help me, black and brown people. I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna ride with you on that one, homie. It's like the liberals or the left, like, so the people who help niggas, like, cause then it's not even, cause then it makes it like, well, man, maybe I should at least fuck with some social justice warriors, because even though they go overboard with the shit, they're at least trying to be on the side of brown and red and black people. They're at least trying to give that guys. In the men's rights movement, a lot of the guys that I've ran into in the manosphere on the internet and stuff, they're super fucking racist. A lot of men's rights movement and anti-feminism movement, it's steeped in a lot of racism, because you see it on Tumblr, you see it on Instagram, you see it on everything. Is that they'll blast, you'll see something anti-feminist, it's like clockwork, and then you go to the page and check what they're about, and they are super bigoted, super bigoted. Like, liberals now is kind of, it kind of feels like when people say liberals, it's kind of feel like they say, hey, the nigger lovers. Like, that's kind of how I feel like that shit's going down. Hold on a second. And the thing is too, that whole rhetoric of what they're saying is, it's really looking at they're looking at they're taking their problem of feminism and then just adding it in. Like, whenever somebody feels oppressed, they want to lump in. Whenever they feel they're being oppressed, they just want to lump in everybody who they feel benefits from that oppression. And part of mgtow is that you have to take agency with your life. You can't get, and I said this in an earlier video, you can't get put through the ringer if you never get married or have kids. That's just kind of, it's black and white. It is. I learned that from my mom. It's just that very life. There's a lot of life. That's black and white. Not to be racial, but everything is or it isn't. Like, if you get a ticket for going 36 and a 35, yes, you may feel it's fucked up, but the speed limit is 35. Now, the enforcement of the law has seemed to be objective, but the speed limit is 35. If you're going 36 and they give you a ticket, the judge may throw it out, but the policeman is all in his rights to legalize. Like, if you take out the emotion of it, if you're being objective, he has the right to write a ticket. That's his job, to write a ticket. If you're doing over the speed limit, they can get you. Now, we may not like it, we may not appreciate it, but if you put yourself in a situation where you can be given a ticket, you're going to get given a ticket. This is kind of how it goes. And part of the men's rights movement that I really stopped in just traditionalism is because it hurts men. Like, feminists are calling men rapists and deadbeats and all sorts of things other other than a child of God. That's gonna happen. We all know they feel that way. All right, cool. You just don't have to deal with them. If dude's like, oh, every woman's become a feminist. Okay, then just that's one that's not true, and just don't date chicks who identify as that. It's not that hard. But the thing is, too, the dangerous ones are the traditionalists or the traditionalist feminists, because even with the men's rights movement, we want to go back to the time when men were men. So you mean we're working all the time, and then what? Working all the time, we still have to be the main breadwinner. We still have to be the protector. We still have to be the provider. I don't want to be that. That's the thing with the men's rights movement. They want men to go back into being the bell cows. I'm nobody's fucking bell cow. If I'm a bell cow, I'm a bell cow for myself. I want to reap the benefits of my own labor. I don't want to have to share it with anybody that I don't want to, especially if you didn't put in with it. If you didn't help, if you weren't with me shooting in the gym, why the fuck should you have my money? I'm not taking care of you just because that's what tradition says. And it's funny because I have a conversation with a girl earlier, just like, oh yeah, I don't pay for dates. Why not? That's classless. How's that classless? Because you're the man. Boom. That to me, if I wasn't a mgtow, I'd have been like, one, I wouldn't have made that statement, but I would have thought like, bitch, how the fuck dare you? You can't claim to say you're independent and you're on equal footing as me, but still want me to pay for everything. That doesn't make you my equal. That makes you my child. That makes you an expense, just literally for your vagina. And I got in a conversation with another girl. I was like, she's like, oh my God, prostitution's so wrong. I was like, how? I'm giving you the money. You're giving me sex. We both get what we want. And you're probably going to enjoy the sex. Boom, there it goes. But the thing with the men's rights movement is that they're so far on the opposite end of what mgtow stands for that we get shamed and said bad things and lies made up about us because we don't engage. We don't want to argue with feminists. No self-respecting mgtow wants to sit and have a debate, have an emotional debate with a feminist. And that's the point we're met to a traditionalist. He was like, why? Like you see that men are wearing dresses, or you see that I don't give a fuck. The men's rights movement meddles, just like social justice warriors and feminists. They meddle. They meddle in things they're looking for everything. They're looking for things that they volunteer to be offended by. This is it. And MGTOW, we don't care. If it doesn't affect us, we don't care. What you do, as long as it doesn't affect my health, my money, my freedom, or the things that I like to do, it doesn't affect me in any way, do what the fuck you want to do. If someone in Texas is going around spray painting "I love dicks" on walls, they have to deal with that in Texas. If there's men that are dressing up as women and they're prancing around Columbus, that's nothing to do with me. As long as they're not blocking traffic when I'm trying to get somewhere, I don't care. Hopefully they're not blocking my friend's traffic, but then like, hey, don't be dicks about shit, but I don't care. And the men's rights movement cares. They care too much about the wrong thing. And it doesn't really help anybody. They don't get anything done. They do all this is we're here for fathers, but feminism was born out of traditionalism. That's it. If you're a man, and cause they like to blame feminism for the fall of the family, traditional family, whatever. They can, there's points that can prove to that, but here's what it is. Them making no-fault divorces easier and easier to get. But things to mention, how do you not see that as a good thing for you too? You know what? I don't like this setup. I'm out. But they're just saying I'm giving you resources and I'm giving you loyalty. You should love me forever. Nigga, that's not how it works. Dante Nero said it perfectly. It was he said, women have integrity amnesia. The same things that they like about you earlier, that they say they want, they can switch that at any given point to whatever it fits them. But that just goes back to female hypergamy, which MGTOW knows about. We know that this shit, the song "These Hoes Ain't Loyal," we known about that. We just don't care. We just choose not to get in that dance. We choose to abstain from serious relationships. Like I'll never put myself in a position to where I feel like if I'm not with this person, my whole world comes crashing down. I'll never want to put myself in that position. Part of mgtow, you have to live and die with your consequences. Whatever your truth is, whatever those consequences are, you have to take full responsibility of them in some way, shape, or form. But the MRM is supposed to keep pushing responsibility back on the feminists. And I say this to anti-feminists all the time. I even say it to the MRM, and I even say this to feminists. Like, what's the end game? Everything has to have an end game. Every ideology has to have an end game. Because at the end of the day, we all die. So there has to be a reason you're doing this. Like, what's the end game? If you don't have a solution, if you're just going to post stuff to make fun of feminists, if you're just going to debate with feminists to try to convert them, that's cool, but it's feminism is gynocentrism politicized. I think Barbarossa said that. Tradition, like, mgtow steps away from gynocentrism. Vagina doesn't run our lives. The pursuit of vagina doesn't run our lives, which is why a lot of us aren't PUAs. A lot of us still get laid, but that's ultimate gynocentrism. Traditionalism is ultimate gynocentrism. Feminism is female superiority at its worst, but even at its best, it's still gynocentrism. So, I have a friend via the internet who is anti-feminist. All right, cool. He's like, oh, I'm converting feminist. I was like, all right, that's cool. And the one thing we always debate over is what's the end game? So you get her thing is her Twitter handle and her Instagram is in feminism. You're never going to end it. And go back to what traditionalism? We're going to egalitarianism. That's not going to happen. That's idealistic. That's in a perfect world scenario. That's never going to happen. It makes how we recognize that. We realize that we're never going to end feminism. A lot of us don't even hate feminism. I don't hate feminism because it's not thrusted on me. I don't have to deal with feminists on an everyday level unless I choose to. Not in a hostile environment. It's not like I'm having debates with feminists or anything. Even if I worked in a department where it's full of feminists, I just wouldn't engage with them about anything. Like, I know that's how they feel. Or I'll just get along to go along to get along. Like, oh man, yeah, good point. Like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like, don't you think video games are misogynistic? Well, you don't have to play them. You don't have to play those games. Like, Madden isn't misogynistic. FIFA isn't. Skate isn't. Call of Duty might be. I don't know. But, like, all the video games where women are depicted as sexual objects, most of those video games, there's a man dying. You just kill a guy. Like, most of your missions is to kill. I think there was one. I can only remember vividly one mission in GTA 5. One of my favorite games of all time. Love it. Where you cause a woman to die. Like, you're chasing, like, in one of the scenes, Michael DeSantis chasing this woman who stole this film, and she, at the end of the day, at the end of the chase, to get to the airport, and she gets sucked into a jet engine. He didn't kill her, he just caused her to die. And then you can kill prostitutes and those strippers, but like, it's a video game, it's not real. Are there people out there killing strippers? Yeah, but there's also people killing men. And whenever you get into those debates, like, oh, women are this, like, they're never going to believe you or care that men are also dying at the workplace. They're also more likely to get assaulted, also more likely to face jail time. And if they are going to face jail time for longer sentences, they don't give a fuck about that because that's not gynocentric. And you're going to have this dichotomy of a situation where with the MRM, you're just going to be arguing back and forth and no one's going to concede. There's never going to be an egalitarian society because even if everything breaks down, you're still going to have a hunter-gatherer mentality. And I think the staunch capital F feminists or just the tomboys who know how to hunt and fish and build things, those women are going to survive, and they're going to have a bevy of women to fit them. They're like the prison studs on the yard. That's kind of what it is. And you have the Tumba feminists and the traditional feminists. They're going to have this whole I'm equal shit. All right, cool. If you say you're equal, we believe you. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm not going to try to state that men need to get back and to dominate women. Dude, we don't give a fuck. MGTOW doesn't give a fuck. At least once you get up to the upper levels, we don't care. And you see a lot of MGTOW breaking away from the men's rights movement, and rightly so, because we come to our senses. That why am I associating with something that's, one, never going to win? Like, RBK had the best series of videos. And that's what turned me completely off of the MRM, because I watched it and I was like, you know what, this makes complete and total sense. Like, you have the Matt Forneys and Aaron Clarys, which is a whole nother different video. These two fucktards saying all this super misogynistic crap. Like, there's a difference between perceived misogyny and straight up misogyny. When you say, as in Matt Forney's case, that you hate a woman with self-esteem, well, one, if anybody's ever seen Matt Forney, or has anybody ever seen Aaron Clary or heard them talk, you can kind of see, I can see why you hate people. But again, those dudes come off as, like, Matt Forney comes off as super fucking bigoted. And you can tell with the men's rights movement that a lot of them are super bigoted because just how they view society. Like, it's all bad for white men. Dude, sucks. Sorry. Not really even. Not even. Not near. When has it ever been bad for the white man? I want to know that day. I want to be there. Like, I want to be there and see that shit. Like, because it seems like it's, as long as you just say the right shit, you can coast along. Like, the MRM really likes just bitching and getting at feminists. For no fucking reason other than just bitch at and get at feminists. And they want to put these parameters on what masculinity is. Like, no, dude, my masculinity is my own. Like, I don't wear dresses because I don't wear dresses. I don't wear high heels and makeup because I don't wear high heels and makeup. That's on me. But I'm not going to fault another man if he wants to do that. That has nothing to do with me. If he works for me, hey, dude, I don't give a fuck what you do as long as you help us get these units out or get these units in. Can you do the job? They're worried about too much shit that just seems like being a busybody. Like, it just seems like they're the same as a Westboro Baptist Church or Islamic zealots, like Islamic terrorists, or even just terrorists. Pretty, like, in any sense, like, why do you give a fuck so much? Why do you give a fuck what other men are doing that doesn't affect you? Why? And the MRM never can really give you a clear, objective answer. They just want name call. And once somebody gets the name calling, and a lot of them get really racial, that you know you got them. Like, and I can walk away from I just not respond. I'm good at that. MGTOW is good at not responding. Like, this is how they feel. I know they're going to react this way. I expected it. And that's why the MRM is going to lose, and that's why I can't stand these motherfuckers, because they don't get anything done. Leighton out. Peace.